Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson. This is Full Time Devils and this is the Full Time Review. In this show we've got coming up Statman Dave, we've got fan cams from St Mary's and we've also got some United on YouTube with a couple of new faces as well, so make sure to stick around for all of that. We're also going to be talking to you guys in the comments, so get any questions, queries, comments about the little clips that we're going to be showing and everything like that down in the bottom here. So Manchester United beat Southampton on the road 1-0 at the weekend to maintain our run at the top. And do you know what? Everything that I'm seeing is just talking about why didn't we batter them like City battered Crystal Palace? Well, do you know what? Every single time United have played somebody, they've been compared with City, haven't they? Now, what they didn't compare was the fact that we absolutely slapped Everton at home and City drew with them. There was a good team when City drew with them. There was a bad team when they was beaten by Manchester United, if you believe the newspaper narrative. Now, Crystal Palace, I fully expect United to beat them at weekend. Are we going to beat them the same score City beat them? Probably not, to be honest, because we're going to be doing it on the back of a flight to Moscow. All of this, they beat them this score, they beat them this score, you beat them that score, they beat them that score, it's absolutely irrelevant. City went on this run for the last couple of years in the league, and what did they win? Anybody, you at the back there, what did they win? What did they win? They won absolutely nothing. City always go on a tear at the start of the season, and it starts to fall apart for them around about the middle of the Champions League group. That's when you find out what you're really made of. Now, Manchester United might be going through that period right now where we find out exactly what we're made of. But winning 1-0 on the road away to teams like Southampton, to me, shows what Manchester United is becoming made of. Yes, we're able to start putting teams away. Yes, we're able to start scoring goals. But yes, we are able to grind out victories. And for me, that's what you need to prove you can do. That's where Manchester City fall down for me, is that I don't think that they prove that they can grind out results and play a different style of football when they need to. And that is why Jose Mourinho is a better manager than Pep Guardiola. Because Jose Mourinho will identify and change things to make sure that we win games that we're supposed to win instead of drawing or losing. And that's the difference with Manchester United from last season to this season. So yes, well, I thought Manchester United looked fantastic in the first half. Southampton came into it in the second half. And sometimes there's two teams in a game of football and we forget that. We forget that actually the other team tactically doing well, the other team carrying out the instructions that the manager's seen and identified as weaknesses in the United side. Them doing their jobs can impact what Manchester United are able to do. And they pushed us back. There was a high line with the defence and then the midfield had a fantastic game and that pushed Manchester United back. Mourinho tried to resolve it by throwing Ander Herrera in. He didn't really have much of an impact. And United get pushed further and further back to our own box. Now, the sensible thing to do there, you might try a risky thing. You might try throw Marshall on as another outlet, someone with a bit more pace, someone with a bit more vitality in their play and try and look to get early balls to him, go direct and try and get in behind them because they are playing this high line. Mourinho chose to go around a safe option and keep the result. Now, Pep Guardiola might have tried to throw on another attacker or three more fullbacks or something along those lines. But Jose Mourinho chose to do what he chose to do, and I'm right behind him because Manchester United came out with the 3 points in what is a difficult place for us to go. We definitely would have drawn that game last season. So Manchester United are improving on what we need to be doing. And you can measure us up against City all you like. What's really going to count is our head-to-heads. Now, we beat them in pre-season. Yes, it was just pre-season, but we beat them. I'm confident we can beat them when it comes back round to the league, and I'm confident we can beat them to the title this season. And ultimately, that's what matters. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And Manchester City haven't been finishing strongly. We haven't ourselves. I'm confident we can do it this season. Right, let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. Someone's saying, relax, I'm too positive. We just won another game. What do you mean too positive? Shut up. I hope Fellaini doesn't start playing a two-man midfield, says Armando. I thought we could have had a bit more of a foot in the game with a three-man midfield, absolutely. John says, I just want to say there's a double standard when it comes to Jose. Conte and Klopp shout and scream at officials and don't get... Sorry, I can't even read that. But yes, he gets, don't get nothing happen and he takes 1 or 2 steps onto the pitch. Now, bad letter of the law is wrong and he shouldn't have done it. The breaking news, literally seconds before we came on air, was that Jose Mourinho will not be charged. There will be no further action from the FA. And I have to say, I'm absolutely shocked because I would have put everything I own on Jose getting a touchline ban on the back of that, but hasn't, so happy days. Robo said it's the best in the heat of the game manager and manages his players, so stepping out is natural. Yep, I agree on that one. United are better than Man City, says Anthony Marshall. Pep does love a fullback, says Benjamin. Let's see how the rest of the top 6 fare away at St Mary's. That's a great point, Jay. We're going to win the league, says Brian, 21. Absolutely. Much love from Tennessee. Much love from Manchester, Frank. Can't boss 90 minutes no matter who you play, says Stuart. That's an excellent point, mate. Yep. Every team is going to have a period when they're on top. It's can they capitalise? Everton had a period on top, didn't capitalise. United then let the horses go towards the end and absolutely finish them off. It's going to happen. This is in the Premier League. This is what's going to happen. Big test is against the bigger teams. Well, you got look. Everton finished the place below us last season. The place below us. Southampton have been consistent top 10 places, and they're also a difficult place to go to. You know, all of these teams are only bad after United beat them, aren't they? Before the game, it's a little bit tricky. Yes, now we've not played Chelsea, we haven't played City. We're going to Anfield in a couple of weeks, though. Is there going to be another excuse if we beat Liverpool at Anfield? Are they just going to be, are people going to pull the excuses out? I'm absolutely sick of it. Just give United some credit for being better than we was last season and for being up there. Instead of, I literally saw an article yesterday which said City have already won the league. No, they've not. They absolutely haven't. They're not even free of relegation yet. What are you talking about? You can't start awarding titles or anything in September. The season's a month old. Sort your life out. I often talk about the negative comments, which mean people are encouraged by my reactions and they comment more, so just ignore them. What are you on about? See, there's another one. I've just fell into that trap again, haven't I? Much love from South Korea. Cheers, David Park. Much love from New Zealand. Wow, we've got a lot of international fans in here this morning. Cheers, everybody. Don't give a toss about City result, only ours. City will run out of steam. We are more equipped for the season, says Screen Stars. And we've still got Zlatan to come back, haven't we? How cool is that? We have to beat Liverpool, says Anthony Marshall. Well, if you bury it like you did on your debut, mate, we'll be happy days, won't we? Fans expecting 4-0 wins every time. This isn't Spain or Germany. Do you know what? Yeah, this isn't Spain or Germany. And 1-0, you get 3 points. 4-0, you get 3 points. You get a better goal difference, but ultimately, at the end of the day, you get 3 points. And ultimately, 3 points is what ends up winning you the title. I think you're going to see like a bit of a throwback here with the 96 season, where you had the entertainers in Newcastle's team, a team that would throw caution to the wind, tactically naive, but entertaining. And I think that's what Manchester City are going to be. And then you got Manchester United, who are going to play in the role of Manchester United in this, where City might even get like a 12, 15 point lead like Newcastle had in that season. And United just grind out 1-0s, 1-0s, 1-0s. And it's not that typical Jose Mourinho 1-0 where you get 1-0 up and then have to close up shop. We're talking about 1-0s where you've been knocking at the door all game long, and then Cantona pops up with an 85th minute winner, and United ultimately go and do the double over Liverpool at Wembley with an 85th minute winner as well. So hopefully that's how it goes down. It'd be absolutely fantastic. Much love from Norwich. Wow, of all the places that we've got watching, that's the weirdest. Watford beat Southampton away. We are in the title picture now. Is that a Watford fan? Just tons of places. We've got South Africa and everyone in here. What do I think will happen with Gomez, says Robert? My gut feeling is that he'll sign. They just want some things in place before he does. But I think that will happen. Are you ready for the first of the clips that we've got? We've got Statman Dave coming up in a second. Let's go and see what the Statman Widge has got to say. Take it away, Dave.
Hello, Statman Dave here. Once again, it's 3-point review time. First up, we've got to talk about the main man, Romelu Lukaku, Man United's number 9, Romelu Lukaku. What a performance from the big Belgium striker. Honestly, I think this is his best performance in a Manchester United shirt. He had everything that Mourinho wants in a striker, worked very hard in the defensive sense, held the ball up so well, and took his chances. You know, you think what Lukaku had in the game, pretty much had 2 chances created by teammates. That was it. He had the one from the Ashley Young cross, and then later on he had a through ball that he had on goal that was well saved by Fraser Forster. But he took one of those chances. You know, a brilliant, rising up a fantastic header, forced to save and turning in the rebound, being alive in that penalty area. But as well as hold-up play, you know, the chance he created for Ander Herrera, that should have been a goal, should have been 2-0 and comfortable for United. I'm just loving Lukaku this season. He's evolving as a footballer, and it's just fantastic to see. Moving on to other great performances, Phil Jones, standout. Me, For me, man of the match, MVP. He dealt with everything that Southampton threw at him. The big thing as well was covering Ashley Young, who positionally got caught out, not really in the team for a defensive player, more of, going forward, created the goal in a way. But Phil Jones constantly shuttling out to that flank and just dealing with it, blocking with it, falling over but still getting the ball out of play. Phil Jones this season for me has been one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League. And if he can continue this, if he can stay fit, he's going to meet this potential. Very, very exciting stuff. And to finish things off, well done to Jose Mourinho, who went to a back five on around 75 minutes, brought on Chris Smalling, identified that Southampton were getting back into the game, went with three centre-halves, a defensive midfield in terms of Nemanja Matic, Fellaini and Ander Herrera. It's just great to see. It's great to see a reactive manager that's changing the game for his team. He gets paid loads of money to make these decisions, and again, he's coming up trumps with the decisions this season. Manchester United, of course, keeping 5 clean sheets in 6 Premier League games this season. Great defensive record, great performance from Manchester United, and I think that's me, Statman Dave. Check me out on YouTube, Statman Dave, of course. Back to Howson in the studio to talk some more rubbish. See ya.
What was that song all about? I think I'd rather sing the other one and get banned. Come on, Dave, sort it out. Anyway, so we spoke about Lukaku. Lukaku being on fire, 8 goals in 8 games. Now, I was excited about Lukaku coming before we signed him. I didn't expect that he'd be sitting here, 8 goals in 8 games. And if he gets one in Russia, I definitely think he's getting more than one against Crystal Palace. And we could be seeing Lukaku have more goals than games. Just 10 games in, and that is a phenomenal return so far. I mean, a lot of people questioning, can he get 20? Well, if you look at how many chances Zlatan had last season, Zlatan had 174 shots. Of those 174 shots, he ended up with 28 goals, and that works out like a 12 or something % conversion rate. Now, Lukaku at the moment isn't quite what he was at last season, which was 26% conversion rate, which would have meant he scores about 45 goals from the amount of chances if he'd got all the same amount of shots as Zlatan did. He's on a 20% conversion, 20% conversion at the moment, which, if scaled back up to the amount of shots that Zlatan took last season, remember that he missed the last couple of months of the season as well, you're looking at a 34 goal return from Lukaku. I think that's pretty good, to be honest, and I think that's pretty likely. So I'm going to say 34, 35 goals. I'd be absolutely delighted. If he ends up with 34, 35 goals, all competitions, he's probably going to lead us to some silverware, I believe. Good comment from Two Shot Tino in the comments here. Saturday's win was the type of performance and result that you need to get over the line in a title race. If that was near the end of the season, we would all be raving about it. I completely agree. We hear it all the time, don't we, as people saying that's championship form, winning when you're not playing well. We saw last season a lot of drawing when we was playing well. I know which one I prefer. I absolutely know which one I prefer. Get some more questions and comments in below and I'll read them out. The next thing that Dave mentioned then was Phil Jones being man of the match. Phil Jones has been absolutely reborn. A little bit of a mistake against Stoke, which let a lot of people wobble on him, but again, magnificent away against Southampton with a lot of trade and with a tricky forward up against him in Long this weekend. And I think he coped admirably. I think he was probably the man of the match. I think it was pretty well deserved. And I'm interested to see what happens once Rojo comes back and if Phil Jones can stay injury-free for a whole season, where he can be by the end of the season. I think it's really interesting. Thoughts on Valencia, says Alex. Not sure in what sense that you mean, mate. Sorry. We are weak when people get down the wing. Not necessarily. I think the way we play, we attack with the fullback, so often our fullbacks can be struggling with their position. Mr. Smokey says Luke Shaw needs to be in the Champions League, definitely needs to be getting some more game time if he's going to have any chance at getting back in the first team at all. Imagine Zlatan and Lukaku up front, says Neely's. Yeah, I hope Mourinho plays it just for the banter. I think they might make a really good partnership because Zlatan likes to sit really deep now, doesn't he? And Lukaku really presses on. So I think it'd be interesting to see how they line up together. I don't think you'll see it very often, but I hope that Zlatan's brought in to really keep Lukaku fresh towards the end of the season because he's never had this sort of season with Everton before, has he? Pogba news, we don't have any news on Pogba at the moment. The news yesterday was that United was umming and ahhing about whether to have surgery or whether to just let it heal naturally, which tells me that we have no idea essentially what's going on. If he's going to have surgery, then he's definitely not going to be back in time for the Liverpool game. If it doesn't require surgery, then I guess maybe he might be fit for the Liverpool game. But a hamstring's not one of the ones that you want to be messing around with. You've got to be fit with that. You can't just risk it. It's not like a bone injury or a ligament injury, hamstring, muscle injuries. You can't mess around with them at all. And the final point, which Dave mentioned, was Jose Mourinho. Well done for Jose Mourinho. As I said earlier, tactically, I like Jose Mourinho. If you see what he's able to do with the preparation, then you see how easy of a game he made it with Ajax in the final of the Europa League. And I think that over 2 legs, I fancy him in the latter stages of the Champions League. We're going to go up against a team that's better than us if we get Real Madrid or Bayern Munich or somebody along those lines. But you know what? I think Jose might shock a few people with this team, especially if we're scoring goals. And we've got Big Dave at the back with 5 clean sheets in 6 games. I wouldn't swap him for anybody. I don't know about you guys. Harris says winning in Moscow would be fantastic. We don't even need to win, actually, to be honest. A draw would be good enough. And Moscow have never beaten us in competitive football. So we've got 2 wins, 2 draws against them. I think I would take a draw. If you're offering me a draw right now, I'll probably take a draw, but I'd be absolutely delighted with a win. We need more creativity in midfield, says Billy Chambers. This is what happens when you're lacking Paul Pogba, I think. Robert says, I think we have shown our midfield does not completely rely on Pogba, which is a good sign of good squad depth. So 2 contrasting points there from you two. We don't completely rely on Pogba. We can get through games, but I think we can be better with Pogba in it. I think any midfield in the world is improved with Paul Pogba in it. We need to get another good midfield. We saw it against Saints. We got dominated. Not necessarily like we need another signing. I think if you'd have played the right sort of system, I think Fellaini, Herrera and Matic as a midfield 3 from the start might have been able to completely dominate them. There you go. We haven't really played any big games yet, but Everton, so we need to see how well we play it against the bigger teams, says Billy. Yes, I do think so. I'm looking forward to it because last season we did go and park the bus. Now, a lot of that was down to the circumstances of us phoning the league in and concentrating on the Europa League. And a lot of that was down to us not being ready earlier on in the season when we faced those teams away. Chelsea was a mad anomaly. They scored 4 goals from 5 on-target shots, which when you think that we had 37 shots against Burnley, how does that even add up? Yes, they was miles better than us, but 4-0 better than us? I don't think there was. I don't think there was 4-0 better than us on the day. But that's the one that sticks in everyone's minds. Liverpool did a great job on us, where we definitely parked the bus, but they didn't beat us. And then vice versa, they did a job on us at Old Trafford. They parked the bus at Old Trafford, and nobody mentions that. So I think if we go to grounds this season and we look to attack a little bit more than we did last season, because of circumstances and this, that and the other, I'm not bothered. As long as Manchester United go to the Emirates, go to the Etihad, go to Anfield, go to all of these places and actually think that we can win the game. And I think that we can, because I think Jose's been surprised by how good this team has looked. I think we can compete. I think with what we've shown at Chelsea at home last season, with that starting 11, we thought, going to get absolutely run over here, and we completely bullied them off the park. So I think if United go to these opposition grounds with a plan, we can attack them and we can win these games. And I think that's going to be the difference for us this season. And I think if we do go to those grounds and we do put them under pressure and we do get some wins, it's our title to throw away. Marshall will start against Moscow, hopefully, says Ryan, I reckon. Neely says Andreas returning in January. I doubt it. I think he'll probably go and do the full season out there now. CSK beat Benfica away. That's from the Full-Time Devils account. It's not even a question. My bad. Young not good enough, says Anthony Marshall. He's doing all right with the creative side of the game. Defensively, he worries me though. I'm not really a fan of him on that left-hand side. But obviously he throws a cross in like he does for Lukaku at weekend and everyone flips out about how good a cross it was. He's definitely a good backup. I just don't think he should be starting week in, week out. Again, the anti-United media propaganda is out in force. Well, they got it both times now, haven't they? Because they don't like Mourinho and they don't like United. So they love that Mourinho's back at United. We've got the fan cams coming in a second. Any more questions before we get to those? We've got Lukaku to stretch the teams. Yeah, I think that's the big bonus is that Lukaku can and does play very well up front on his own, which is going to be what he has to get used to against those big teams because Mourinho is definitely going to pack the midfield and look to protect the back four a little bit. But Lukaku can operate on his own, and against all of these teams, they play a high line. We saw this against Louis van Gaal, and one of the reasons Van Gaal was very successful is because he couldn't break down smaller teams, but he could break down the bigger teams because he played somebody with a high line. It would either be Falcao or it could be Van Persie. It was someone that would play with a high line, And against teams that press forward, you find space. He struggled with the teams that didn't come forward, that didn't want to play football against us. So I think, and I hope, there's a little bit of an element of that. Lukaku finds space against the bigger teams and scores some goals. Right, let's go and see what some of the Reds were saying outside St Mary's. Is a fan cam compilation.
Come on! Yeah, that's it! Come on! Yeah, that's it! Yeah, that's it!
Take it, you happy with that then?
F***ing buzzing, Adam.
Love you, mate.
Nice to see you, mate.
Cheers, man.
We was lucky today, to be honest. But I thought Southampton, if they fought like that all the time, they'd be a good side.
Yeah.
But why did they only raise the game when it's United?
Yeah.
Here's my views on the game. I assume that's what you're after. We won the first half. We lost the second half. We won the game. Probably not the fair result, but I liked it a lot. It was fantastic. You can't batter every team, and Manchester City are doing that right now, but they're not going to be doing it forever. And I think these are the games you have to win if you're going to be there come the end of May.
Tight fought win for United, but did we deserve it?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Southampton were good in the second half, but yeah, they're playing in Reds. Playing in Reds. Against a mighty Manchester United, no chance. But.
I mean, I think even Mourinho was getting worried. At the end, we had 6 defenders on. So I think that sort of summed it up.
And we had to do that?
Yeah, because Southampton were all over us in the
Would you
second
have
half.
done that?
Yeah, because they were all over us in the second half. You know, it don't matter which way you look at it, no matter how you word it, how you plump it up, we were rubbish in the second half.
Obviously, they were pushing for the equaliser, but 3 points is 3 points. You know what I mean?
There'd been times over the last couple of years where we wouldn't have got that win, innit?
Yeah, definitely. I think Jose has strengthened the team a lot this season. Maric, unbelievable.
Jose got sent off again.
All right, listen, Jose. Listen, I'll say to Big J, yeah, that Jose is to management what Cristiano Ronaldo is to football. They are absolute winners, and when they're not winning in the way they want to win, it hurts them. It hurts them, and he can't really hide his emotions when it comes to stuff like that. So eventually, it's all going to come out. You know what I mean? The good Jose in his brain is like, hey, Jose, suppress it, man. Don't do it. Then the bad Jose is like, hey, I'm going to do it, man. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Jose doing what Jose does, but he gets the 3 points, so we're happy.
What's happened to Gabbiadini? Has he become like the next Michu or something? Or because he has everything to him, but he had that season, and then do you think it'll just take him? Is it a slow burner? Will he get going again? Are you confident you'll see that form from him again?
Trouble is with Gabbiadini, you have to get the service to him. He wants the ball to feet. He makes all of the movement, makes all the runs behind the last man, and actually causes havoc for the defenders. Trouble is, he's getting the service to him. You know, teams like United, teams like Watford, for example, we just didn't get the service from last weekend. Last time against Watford, he had 10 touches, 2 of which were from kickoff. Just really tells the whole story.
If you want to see more of those fan cams, they're on our YouTube channel. So after this, go and check all of those out individually. Now, Sam said we can't batter every single team, and I have to completely agree on that. You can't batter every single team. As we mentioned already in this show, sometimes it's about grinding out victories. And like I said, a bit of a throwback to that 1996 season where Manchester United ground out all those 1-0 wins and really put the pressure. And some of the Newcastle players that was involved in that title race have come out and said it really got to them. They would go out, they would be feeling the pressure of what was going on. They would go out, they would get a win, they would look at the scores. Manchester United won 1-0 and they'd be absolutely going out of their mind. And then ultimately it led to Kevin Keegan absolutely blowing his top. Now, can you see Pep Guardiola doing that live on air? I can. The guy's absolutely tweaked off his head already, isn't he? So I definitely can see that happening. There's a couple of good comments here on Facebook. Let's have a quick look. So we've got Dev saying, we look comfortable in a 3-5-2 versus Burton. Yes, but the very last part of your comment tells you why. It was against Burton. So it's all right looking good in a 3-5-2 against Burton. We didn't look great in a 3-5-2 against Real Madrid, did we? I think that's the key difference here. Burton are not Real Madrid. Quote me on that one. I think 3-5-2 is a good option for us. It's one that I would like to see us use more. I definitely think it's something that we're going to have in our locker. I think there's a lot of benefits for us playing 3-5-2, especially to get the best out of Paul Pogba in midfield. And I think you can also play Mkhitaryan off that main striker to get him involved as well in the creativity. Tristan's got a good comment. Phil Jones has always been a beast of a player. Injuries have just ruined his career so far. Yes. But I got to be honest, I lost faith in Phil Jones. There was time last season when he was playing in the under-23s and he didn't look the best centre-half in the under-23s. There were 17-year-olds that looked better than him and he looked way off the pace in terms of physicality, in terms of mental, in terms of positioning. But this season, absolutely smashing it and can't fault his contribution to the team whatsoever. Neely says, is Sam Homewood alive? You've literally just seen him. Although I guess, something could have happened since, but he's alive. Schmeichel played a blinder, 1-0 Cantona, exactly. Talking about the 96 season there. Dalotti in the comments. As United fans, we need to stop this shit that Jose is always to do something stupid on the touchline. Wait. What are you on about? Always doing something stupid on the touchline. Last season he kicked a water bottle and they banned him. You see Klopp and Conte going absolutely bananas, don't you, on the touchline, and nothing's ever said. They go, we love the passion. Jose Mourinho kicks a water bottle, puts 1 foot on the touchline, and they're talking about banning him. Now, they haven't banned him. As I said earlier, this has just come out just before we've gone in there, so I haven't got the full details, but the gist of it is there's going to be no further action from the FA to Jose Mourinho, and I've got to admit, I'm totally shocked. I thought it was a knocking bet that it was going to ban him because they love banning him. I'd rather we attacked and ended in a draw. No, you wouldn't. You absolutely wouldn't. Stop talking utter nonsense. We did attack. It didn't work. We got pushed back. 2 teams in a game of football. Stop lying to try and make yourself look good. You wouldn't prefer that we drawed games because do you know what? Last season we did that. We attacked and we drew. And no one was happy, was there? Behave yourself. I'd rather do it the way we are doing it now, says Neely's. Mourinho got to him that year when Guardiola called him the effing boss in a pre-match. Exactly. I definitely think there's a Mourinho, Guardiola, Ferguson, Keegan meltdown coming if it goes to United and City. Do you know what? Get your popcorn out because it won't be Mourinho losing his mind. I can absolutely guarantee that. Dexter says, I like Phil Jones. He's a confidence player because when he gets a run of games, he looks great. That's the problem. That is the problem, isn't it? Because he doesn't always stay fit and he's been a massively injury-prone player. Whatever has been changed, it looks great at the moment. Sprunt Ricky says, house and charming as usual. Thanks, mate. I know you're being sarcastic, but thank you. Passion Merchant says, Aaron, Klopp is a flop, says Neely's. He's got a worse record than David Moyes. He's got a worse record than Brendan Rodgers. But the way some Liverpool fans are going on, like, they sacked one of them and they made banners at taking the piss out of the other one. So what is it with Klopp? Literally because he just runs up and down the touchline. This is a man that's had umpteen transfer windows now and still hasn't addressed that. They've got a worse defence than my son's under 11 side. Armando says, which is better, forcing our style on teams or adapting? I think there has to be a little bit of both. You have to go out there and play your way, but you can't be rigid in the way that you play football. This is what we saw under Louis van Gaal, and that is the major criticism of Guardiola. When you've got a plan A that doesn't go to plan, you have to switch it up because football's a results game at the end of the day. It is about winning. It's not about who can play the prettiest football. There's no trophy for who played the prettiest football at the end of the season. And for me, passing it around your centre-half and goalkeeper is not pretty football. Pretty football is scoring goals and winning games. That's what people remember, and that's what I want to see us do. Conte doesn't have a go at the fourth official like the other managers. Behave yourself. Come on, son. Conte's actually mental on a touchline. Eric Bailly has been crazy this season. Yeah, do you know what? I don't think Bailly's getting enough of his due. I think he's doing absolutely fantastic for us, and he looks great. Van Gaal was better than Klopp, says Anthony Marshall. What are we going to do when Matic gets older? We need to scout some younger defensive midfielders. I'm sure we are. It's good to see that Mata is giving a free hand to roam around the opposition box. Jose's using him well. I would like us to have a bit more width on that right-hand side. But yes, I do agree. It's working pretty well with him at the moment. Should we bring back Giggs to pull in Gareth Bale? Do you really think it'd make that much of a difference? I'm pretty sure if United wanted him to go, they would just send him to Madrid to go and have a word with him, if that's all it takes. Rojo at left-back? No, Rojo's not a left-back whatsoever. But I do think it's going to be interesting to see what happens when he's fully fit with Phil Jones and Bailly. I think Bailly is the absolute guaranteed first choice. Rojo alongside Bailly last season, I thought it might have been too much hot sauce, but it was pretty good. Will Phil Jones lose his place? We are going to find out probably around about Christmas time, I reckon. We have got some new faces in United on YouTube, so let's go and see what they've got to say about this weekend's game.
Hey people, how you doing? My name is Tony Mawade. Big fan of Manchester United, big fan of Full-Time Devils also. I just wanted to talk about the United Southampton game. It was a good game from a defensive standpoint, not so much attackingly.
Not the best of performance, another lacklustre second half performance like against Everton for Manchester United, but still 1-0 Lukaku goal. That's 8 in 8 games for Lukaku now, absolutely fantastic. Another clean sheet for David De Gea as well. That's 5 in 6. If Manchester United can keep it solid at the back and Lukaku can continue to score goals, then Manchester United aren't going to be too far off the title.
It's never easy for Manchester United going to St Mary's. Since Southampton's first season in the Premier Leagues in the 2012-2013 season, when they got promoted the season before, we have won 4 of our last 6 visits at St Mary's. Who could forget that Robin van Persie hat-trick in the 2012-2013 season? Who could forget that Anthony Martial brace in the 2015-2016 season? Now we have another memory. Romelu Lukaku adding his name to the score sheet.
We couldn't bury chances, we couldn't kill the game out, but it was a great game. Defensively, Phil Jones was stellar. Eric Bailly was also good. Actually, young of all people, who would have thought? But he's good too. But yeah, it was a pretty good game. I'm happy we're winning games. It wasn't our best performance by far, but I'm happy we're winning games, even though it's not our best performance.
So really, overall, happy that we've got another 3 points, and it's built winning games like this on titles where it's tight and you nick them 1-0 when you're not playing as well as you can do. But it is a bit worrying that we're not playing quite as well now that Paul Pogba isn't in the team, so we need to get him back as quick as possible to start firing on all cylinders again.
We haven't won by more than a margin of 1 goal at St Mary's in quite some time. It's always been a close victory where that is concerned. But it's 3 points at the end of the day. Not too concerned about Manchester City's ascendancy as it relates to the goal difference. It's 3 points for whatever victory it is, 1-0 or 10-0. It's still 3 points. Manchester United now goes to Moscow to play that game in the UEFA Champions League. We look forward to a prominent performance from them. I like the fact that we're playing this encounter early, playing away, so that later down the road we have shorter journeys for us to look forward to. So come on, United, let's go, and let's beat Crystal Palace next weekend as well.
But yeah, imagine when we have all our full team, covered, Pogba, everybody. So it's going to be a good season. I'm happy. All right, thank you guys for the 30 seconds. I know I'm part of. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you to everybody who got involved in sending us a video for United on YouTube. Good to see some new faces on there, and we'd like to see even more new faces on here as well. So if you've got a Manchester United channel on YouTube and you want to send us in some videos, then fulltimedevils@gmail.com is the address. Send us some videos and you might be featuring on this video after the next game. So the next game in the Champions League, after the next league game, that is. The next game in the Champions League is going to be CSK Moscow away. We're not going to Russia because it's double far away, but we are going to Hotel Football because that's not double far away. So if you want to come and watch the match with us, then we're going to be at Hotel Football in the Old Trafford Supporters Club, and we're going to be doing fan cams after the game as well. So if you want to come and watch the match with me, and I think Adam's coming, and there's probably a few other regular faces that you'll know from the channel as well, then head over to Hotel Football. I'm not sure if it's entry or not. It's usually like £1 or something on a match day. No idea. I guess we'll find out. And we're going to be watching the match in there. So if you're not going to Russia and you want somewhere to watch it with a bit of an atmosphere, Old Trafford Supporters Club, we're going to be in there. Come and join us, and we'll see what happens. So let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. Have we got the best defence in the league? No, I'm going to say we've not. I'm going to say we're not far off, but I'm going to say no. Take out longevity. De Gea is our best ever goalkeeper. His distribution is ridiculous. Nope, not the best ever goalkeeper. I think he could be the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment, but I think he's still got a little bit of a way to go before he reaches Schmeichel and Van der Sar levels about being best ever goalkeeper. We've got a video out on social media as well, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook and all that lot, which has got the stats for how many clean sheets some of those have got. Van der Sar had more than a clean sheet every other game. So, yeah, it's definitely between Van der Sar and Schmeichel, I think. But he's in the mix, David De Gea. Very good goalkeeper. Will Fosu Mensah get loaned out next season? I hope not. I hope he gets the opportunity to get some first-team games. Rashford looks a bit burnt out, says Neeliz. Hope he gets a rest and he's ready for Palace. I'm not sure he does look I'm not sure I agree on that, to be honest, that he looked burnt out. But, yeah, I think Anthony Martial's probably going to feature against CSK in Moscow away. Shafat says, I'd rather reclaim the title than play attacking, beautiful football, of course. You need a strong spine to be a manager like Jose Mourinho. Respect. Yeah, so Jose got sent off for being Jose, didn't he? Let's face it. The reputation of Jose Mourinho preceded what happened there. Because I reckon there's probably at some point during that game, Pellegrino stepped onto the pitch. Nothing happened. Why was Jose getting sent off? When I first heard that he'd been sent off, I assumed that was Jose trying to deflect, time waste, do something, because that's Jose Mourinho, isn't it? But when you actually see what he does, it's a disgrace. He literally got sent off because of his reputation. Now, the FA have not banned him. So that proves to me that the FA was wrong, or they've reviewed the tape and gone, actually, he shouldn't have been sent off. proving the fact that Jose Mourinho was sent off literally for being Jose Mourinho and not committing any sort of offence contrary to the laws of the game. We're used to this sort of thing as United fans. People say that United fans United managers get preferential treatment, and Fergie used to run the FA and all that lot. Where's the proof? Sir Alex Ferguson used to get record fines and record bans. He's been banned more than any other manager. Absolute nonsense, anti-United agenda from the media and from all the opposition fans. CSK preview will be tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that one. Do Chelsea or Spurs have the best defence in the league? I think it's Spurs. Statistically, I think it's Spurs, but we're not far off, to be honest. Will we ever see Lukaku, Martial and Rashford in a league game this season? Don't know, don't pick the 11. I think you could do, though. I think you definitely could do. What did Mourinho actually do on the touchline to warrant sending off? One of his feet went over the white line. That's it. How many times have you seen other managers step over? I'm sure I've seen Arsene Wenger steaming towards the ref on the pitch and had to be pulled away by his assistants. Nothing. Jose Mourinho puts a foot over the line. Probably just didn't realise. It wasn't like he marched onto the pitch. He was standing in a technical area. One of his feet went over the line. Off you go. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Ibra or Lukaku on form. It's got to be Lukaku, hasn't it? Interesting to see what sort of shape Ibra is when he comes back, though. Manchester United are set to open contract talks with David De Gea and confident he will remain in the club despite interest from Real Madrid. Collins just put that in the comments there. Yes, that'd be excellent news if we do manage to get him to extend. Pundits always say if you can win when you don't deserve to, that's when you can be champion, says Chris in the comments. Exactly. But at the moment, people are just clamouring towards City the title like they did last season and like they did the season before. Anyway. What do we have to do for teams and the world to respect us? David De Gea is the best goalkeeper in the world but doesn't get the respect. I think we have to win the Champions League. I honestly think that's the case. I think we have to win the Champions League, and if we win the Champions League and he puts in a man of the match performance in a quarter or a semi or even the final itself or saves a penalty like Van der Sar did in the final, they'll probably crown him that. But you know what? I bet his performances probably don't even go up. That's just what we're used to seeing. It just happens on a bigger stage and more people take notice of it. That will do us for full-time review today. Thank you for everybody that's joined us. Make sure to subscribe if you're new around here. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure to like the page. All the shares in the world help and we appreciate all of those. Any of your questions, comments, queries for after the video is finished and we'll answer as many of those as we can. We'll see you tomorrow for the CSK preview. And if you come into Hotel Football on Wednesday to watch the match, we'll see you then as well. Laters.